How's everybody doing? Awesome. All right, my name is Tommy Burns, and I'm a senior here at Sage Hill. And, okay, here we go. There it is. That's what I like to see. All right. All right, I'm a senior here at Sage Hill, and I know we got a lot of heavy hitters here tonight. We got a lot of great teachers, authors, amazing students. So if you're wondering what I'm about, I have a slide for that. Here are my stats. You'll notice that overthinking is listed as both a strength and a weakness. That's no mistake. And one thing I should add is first person to tarp surf on a TEDx talk, so very stoked about that. All right. So let's talk about happiness, shall we? It's something that we all think about. It's something that we all chase. It's this elusive creature that people spend a lifetime trying to get to and somehow can never do so. Now, I considered this, mostly in junior year when life started coming at me fast. Junior year is a time in high school when you have ACTs, you're trying to get your grades up, you're trying to get into college, making sure your life can go right. And what that all leads to is a thought process that is so future-bound that it can really stress you out. And so my junior year, I was stressed out thinking about college. I was stressed out thinking about what happens after college. In the English class, we were reading this book called Death of a Salesman, about this salesman who dies. And it's a tragedy about a salesman who spends an entire lifetime chasing paper, chasing happiness, and he never really gets to that goal. And so after reading this in English class and having everything speed by me, I was thinking, well, I'm going to be thrown into this in 5 years anyway. I'm going to have 30 years in a cubicle, hopefully in office. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to have to deal with the fact that I'm going to be sitting in a room doing some sort of business probably and try to keep myself stoked and try to keep myself out of the monotony of life. So I was searching for ways to get out of that, to maintain my happiness that I have now as a youth in my olden days and whatnot. And so what I did is I looked to my passion, which is surfing, because for some reason, every time I go out and surf, I'm always happy. Every time I'm on a wave, I'm always happy. And I looked at that, and I was trying to think, well, why is that? Why is there such a consistency there that's not in life? And that's where my thought process went to one of analyzation. How can I get that in my life? How can I get that feeling to be more consistent in my life? And so I came with the solution, or the thought, that each wave is a lifetime. And so there's lessons to be learned from surfing. Because at that point where I'm happy and I'm on a wave, there's a certain feeling that comes with that. And I wanted to see how I could translate that to life, because it's the same thing. It has a beginning and an end. And I came up with a few lessons that I've learned from that, a few ways that I've picked some of the most inspiring things from surfing to help me guide me throughout my life and make me happy. So the first one that I thought of is reaction is control. And this basically means that you can't control, I can't control, we can't control what happens to us in life. We can't control the waves coming in. When I'm out in the lineup, which is like usually where the waves break, and there's a set coming in, which are the bigger waves that are way bigger than the rest, and they break outside the lineup, further out, I have to make a decision on whether I'm going to go in and try to make sure I get less of the whitewash, which is the whitewater after the wave breaks, or if I'm going to paddle out and get over that wave. In life, we get decisions like that every day, and we can choose how we want to see them. This is a quote from Master Oogway, who's a respected Kung Fu master. That's going to be funny in a second, trust me, if you don't get it. But he says, today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. The way I interpret it is more opportunity-wise. Today is an opportunity for us as people, because we have decisions every day. We have these moments where we can make a decision about how our life is going to go. And so the reaction is how we feel about the situation. It's not the situation itself. We can't change that set coming in. We can't change that meeting on Monday that's happening. We can't change that test. What we can change, how we feel about it, what we do about it. And we can change how we react to it. And so the thought here is that we can change our feeling about the things that happen and then make sure we're happy even if it's a bad thing or a good thing. Make sure when that set comes in, we can look at it with joy because we're changing our feeling about it. We're reacting to it differently emotionally. And for those of you who don't know who Master Oogway is, this is a photo of him. From the cinematic masterpiece Kung Fu Panda. Okay, second one. Take a moment and just be. This is one of my favorite ones, aside from the third one and the fourth one. It's my favorite out of all of them, but I love all of them. Take a moment and just be. This one became clear because every time I went surfing, part of the happiness that came with it was the fact that I could just chill out without the distractions of life. On my phone, we heard a talk about phones and the addiction that comes with that. Every time I look at my phone, I have an assignment. Every time I look at my phone, I have an email. I have a text from somebody. I'm thinking about what's going to happen in the future. I'm thinking about what's going to happen in the past. I'm not present, and I don't feel like I have a control over my emotions or what's going on in my life. And so surfing was an outlet for me, a way to get away from the past, away from the future, and stay present. Because I'm out there on my board, I can't take my phone with me, and I just feel the water moving underneath me, reminding me that I'm alive and I'm human, and that's what's important here, is that we're alive and we're human, and that right now is the only thing that can change our future, and so we don't have to let our past or our future affect us. This is a quote by Sam Bleakley, the author of a book called Mindfulness in Surfing. Surfing is neither a sport nor a recreation, but an everyday opportunity for transcendence. I believe that he's going on the same track with that it allows us to get away from the past and future and get us to explicitly remain present and remain human. Positive perspective. Like I said, this one's a good one. I really like this one because a positive attitude is a driving force in life, not a result of it. And the reason I like that quote, because that's all me, baby. Like I said before, I love that so much. Like I said before, reaction is our only control. And so this positive perspective is totally in our control. When you see that set coming in, you can react to it like, okay, this is going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a fun paddle. I might get pounded. I might get held under the water. I might feel like I'm going to drown, but I'm going to get back up again. I'm going to learn from the experience, maybe sit a little farther out next time and be grateful that you got that opportunity to live. And so the real lesson here is that by changing our perspective, we can change the way we experience life. And by separating what happens with how we feel about it, then we can always make sure that we're in a good mood and we're always happy. And that's really what I learned from surfing. And so the next one is going to lead into another topic, and it's going to come into fruition. So here we go. Harmony. This is what the positive perspective instigates. It's a balance. It's living with everything that's going on in your life and following it and not letting it affect you. It's living in harmony with the good things and the bad things and keeping that balance of good and bad rolling. This is a quote by Lao Tzu, who is an ancient Chinese philosopher, founded Taoism. It says, a good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent on arriving. The reason I like this is because he really stresses the fact that it's all about what you're doing now. And a good traveler, if he's looking forward to only the destination, he has no time to enjoy what's happening right now, and he has no time to have that positive perspective. And if anything happens that deters him from getting to that destination, he's going to be bummed out about it. And so the traveler's job is not to get to the destination, but to enjoy every part of his experience in that journey. Life's a journey. It's a cliche, but this quote really illustrates that point that I'm trying to make here. Nothing is softer or more flexible than water, yet nothing can resist it. This is a quote also by Lao Tzu, and it's another one that's great for harmony. This illustrates the power of harmony, not just the benefits. Water is a perfect example of something that works with its surroundings. You see in a river, you see in a stream, you see in the Grand Canyon, water's flowing pretty lightly. Well, not in the Grand Canyon, that's really hectic rapids and whatnot, but you get the point. Water is this thing we think about that's pretty harmless, when it's in small quantities and whatnot. It's extremely flexible. It's the most flexible thing, yet it can shape landscapes and change its surroundings, all by moving around and with the terrain it's in. And this kind of power is something that comes from harmony. And so if we can imagine our perspective as a balance, you see the yin-yang on the right, or the left there. The yin-yang on the left there is a balance of good and bad. And if we imagine this on a scale, that we're all a scale, if you can maintain balance when one side is heavier than the other, then that separates the events of what's going on with how you feel about them, and therefore you control how you feel on a good day and a bad day. Who here has had a bad day? Who here has had a good day? Maybe you felt differently about those, but you don't have to. You can feel stoked on any day by living with what's going on and controlling your feelings about what happens. Like I said before, Taoism was founded in ancient China by Lao Tzu, and he wrote a book called the Tao Te Ching, which is a collection of poems that illustrate his philosophy in a short manner. And it's basically living with the flow of life, this natural flow that everything's going at, this present pace that is life. Not considering the future, not considering the past, but considering what is happening right now. So now I'm going to connect both Taoism and surfing. So the Tao is this flow of life. It's this energy that we're all a part of, that's always moving. And the way I think about it is it's similar to a wave, because the Tao has a fixed pace. We can't change it. We can't make it go faster or slower. We can't make life go faster or slower. A wave has a fixed pace. Once you're on it, and you can't control going faster and getting to that beach more quickly or slowing down the ride so you can enjoy it as much as possible. You have to work with what the pace of it is. The Tao is unpredictable, and a wave is unpredictable. But what comes with this is unlimited opportunity and constant opportunity. And this is the reaction. This is the opportunity we have on a daily basis, on a minute-to-minute basis, to be happy. This is that moment when you can shift from having good days and bad days and feeling good and bad about them to having always a positive perspective about the days. Because when I go surfing, I always seem to have a great time, even if the waves are small and mushy and really bad, or if I'm waiting out there for 2 hours, or if it's the best day ever, barreling 6 foot. And the reason that is because I'm always grateful for the waves around me, whether they're big or small. I'm always grateful for the experience that I'm having, and I can control how I feel about that experience, making it a good experience, so that the events of what happened don't matter as much. Now, I'm not saying that I'm doing this in everyday life. It's perfectly human to have good days and bad days and feel good and bad about them. I'm not a perfect human. But this is something that I like to work on in the future to be happier. If I'm stuck in a cubicle for 30 years, might as well be stoked about it. And that's the real message here, is that the quality is determined by the perspective. And this is what surfing has taught me. Your perspective is a driving force in life, not a result of it. Thank you. I'm Tommy Burns.